Almost fully protected under the First Amendment, fake news has become viewed as an online threat to the world. False media represented as real news to get your sympathy, provoking fear or anger, can really cause mistrust in our sources today. Communication is how we express our thoughts about how something affects us emotionally and physically. The Bill of Rights protects our freedom of expression in many manners, as well as the use of false information and false speech. But false speech is a form of manipulation that harms our security and trust. First, we will discuss what fake news is. Second, we will discuss the benefits and harms to freedom of speech. Let's begin. Fake news is misinformation or false speech. It is deliberately written to harm specific groups of people or someone. While some suggest that there is no ill intent, that one is simply observing their First Amendment rights for freedom of expression, the harm lies deeper. Psychologists believe that the spread of false information has much to do with an emotional effect, where the bigger the group of emotionally triggered people, the more certain fake news will spread and linger. In a 2023 podcast, speaking of psychology, titled Stopping the Spread of Misinformation, which is featured in an American Psychology Association article titled How and Why Does Misinformation Spread?, Dr. Sander van der Linder speaks about what misinformation includes. It's entirely made up stories and false stories about people or events, but it also includes speaking half-truths, having biased narratives, having illogical fallacies, misleading arguments, presenting things out of context, are all classified as misinformation. Some factors that makes us vulnerable to misinformation is fluency, which is the speed that we process information. So in an online setting, when we read or we hear a lie several times, it causes an illusory truth effect, which means that the information becomes so familiar to your ear and your senses, it causes you to have this feeling that you heard the news before. So it continues to influence more misinformation. Dr. Van der Linder was questioned on how to debunk or sort through what is fake and what is real. He believes that misinformation, if treated like a virus, can be stopped with a vaccination. The vaccination being exposing our brain to a small dosage of misinformation to build cognitive and mental antibodies to refute misinformation later. So by understanding the small details of what misinformation is and how our mind interprets information, we can make cognitive and mental sense into sorting through what is real and what is not real. In online social media today, you get to see people from all over the country expressing themselves, speaking, and doing what they feel is comfortable to them. While many nations support a high level of freedom of expression, many nations are still under censorship. And it is a universal law that inciting harm or violence is prohibited. America is an open marketplace of ideas that allows freedom of speech and press. So as long as you don't incite violence, which is an actionable harm, cause defamation, which is libel, which is a written, or slander, which is spoken, the use of false statements to ruin someone's reputation, lying after taking an oath, which is perjury, or fraud, intentional deception to deprive someone of their rights to gain unlawfully. The Supreme Court has ruled that false statements or false information is protected unless it violates any of these actions mentioned. Congress's website, which is at Congress.gov /crs-product/IF12180, shares many points for the protection of false speech under the First Amendment. So overall, all forms of speech are supported and should be expressed, but it is illegal to spread lies about someone. As we investigated what false information is, we understand that it is protected under the First Amendment. So as long as you don't commit violence, perjury, fraud, and such. America is a melting pot of cultures, as well as an open marketplace of ideas. So all speeches are openly encouraged, and even hate speech, because expression is important and all opinions matter somewhere.